So, is that the best you can do? Going to supervise from down there today, are you? It's not a bad view, to be honest, is it? You can sort of keep everything under control and not have to move. Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. Last video, I was talking about the fact that it was the A-level results last week and I needed to make a card for our friend's daughter. But it also got me thinking that it's GCSE results this week coming out, but also any occasion that somebody's celebrating perhaps a new job or perhaps getting into the uni they wanted or whatever. So we did a very feminine card last time with a pretty lady from the Beautiful You suite, and it just got me thinking, had I got anything in my supplies that I could make perhaps a little bit more of a masculine based card. So I came up with this one, and I like the sentiment in this stamp set. It's the Sailing Home stamp set, and just that thought of setting sail in the direction of your dreams. It's sometimes when you're setting out on a new course of action, be it a new job or a new school, new college, whatever, it's quite a good sentiment to put on a card, a congratulatory card. So just going to show you quickly how I've made that. So I've used the Sailing Home stamp set in conjunction with the smooth sailing dies, which it's not obvious what it's called. You can find the name here. In the old packaging it was very easy to actually see the name of it, but it's here now, the smooth sailing dies. Now you'll find all of the Come Sail Away suite on pages 144 and 145 of the catalogue. So lots of really good products in there. That's the word I'm looking for, products. Even the string, I like the string, it's manageable. And there are, I think there's at least one card that I've done in the not too distant past that you'll find on my channel. So I'm also going to be using the layering oval framelits, which I used in the previous card. And this time I'm going to use a smooth oval, and it's the second largest, I believe. Yeah. So whereas last time we went for the largest crinkle, I'm going for the second largest smooth. Oh, is that it? You're going, are you? You don't work on a Sunday, is that right? No, it's definitely going. You can't get the staff, can you? I don't know. So anything could happen now. My director has left the room. So I'm starting off with a 6x8 piece of Whisper White card. I don't work too well on a Sunday either, if we're honest. Actually, I probably don't work that well any day of the week, but yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, is it the end of the week or the start of the new one? I'm not sure, but either way, it's probably not working too well for me. So 6x8, scored at 4 on the long side to give me my card base. And with that, I'm going with a 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 piece of the Come Sail Away Designer Series paper. Now I'm going with this design, which is on the flip side. You'll find this pretty balmy blue background with the little lighthouses, which is also very pretty. But I'm looking for the bold stripes on this. Now when I've cut this, rather than normally if you just grab hold of a piece of paper, you just cut the size that you want, but because we're looking at all these stripes here, I've tried to even it up. So I've cut slightly more than 5 3/4, and then I've just cut, it's not perfect, but it's just so that we've got a little bit of blue on either side rather than a big bit of blue and a piece of white. I think it's a sort of a OCD thing on my part, but it just sort of looks a little bit tidier. in my opinion. So I'm going to stick that on the front of my card using some Snail, which I'm desperately hoping is going to last the course. New order should be with me tomorrow, so I have lots of Snail in that, but I've kind of got to get through today. So I'm just centralising that as usual. And it's going to be in the portrait style, so we want to, when you cut your piece of paper out, you want to make sure your stripes are going the right way. I'm not sure you can get a wrong way, but anyway, you know what I mean. We want them going upwards. So I've now got a piece of Night of Navy card, and that is actually 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. The reason I've gone smaller is because I actually want some of the blue stripiness to show through around the outside. And I've used this one. Sorry, I'm thinking while I'm talking. So this is about just under 2 1/2 across. And when I've cut it out using my Big Shot, I've actually, rather than centralise the oval, I've gone more towards the top, so we've got less card at the top and more at the bottom, because we're going to add this extra detail at the bottom. So put that to one side because I've already run that through my Big Shot. Now what I need, which I've kind of forgotten about. So normally I would cut a piece of card with my trimmer. I've actually forgotten that I needed this piece of card. It is Sunday, but you won't see this. You won't see this edge. I've got my other scissors here. That's obviously what that spare bit of white card was on the side. That I thought, oh, that's handy. That's a spare bit of card. I'll use that for something else. How not to craft. Right, there we go. I want that obviously a bit. So if I was doing this properly, I'd go for something that is about 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. Got myself a bit confused there. No change there, is there? So I'm going to stick some Snail just down the side here. And I'm just going to stick my white piece of paper, my white piece of card rather. Okay, that sounds interesting. I dread to think. So I've got a white background in my Night of Navy oval. Then I'm going to add some more Snail so that I can actually stick it to my base card. It's not even dinner time, so I don't know why they're being naughty. So again, I'm just going to centralise this onto the base card there. So again, I'm bearing in mind I've got all these stripes, so I don't want to sort of stick it off centre, so I've got more white on one side than the other. So it's never going to be perfect, but that is what I'm trying to do. I'm getting somewhat distracted with all the noise that's going on outside there. I feel like they're probably destroying our home while we're in here. So that's our finished card, or the finished of the base bit of it. And then I've stamped a yacht using the larger of the two. So there's two yachts in this stamp set. So I've used this one. And I've also used the sentiment of set sail in the direction of your dreams. So I've already stamped that onto Whisper White cardstock, and I've cut them out using the coordinating dies. So you've got one for the larger yacht, and you've got this lovely die here which works with both of the sentiments. So the let hope be your anchor through the storms of life, or something like that, also fits in there. But that would also, if you've got this die set, would also work with a lot of other sentiments as well. So I've stamped both of those out, and I've cut them out using these coordinating dies. I'm going to, when you cut it out, you'll find that this little bit pops out. She said, there we go, to give you that little detail around the sail. And because this bit's water, and because I just have to have Wink of Stella, I'm just going to put a little bit of Wink of Stella around the bottom of the yacht, just to give it that shimmery effect around the water. You're back, are you? You got anything you need to tell me? What you've been up to? Or is it just going to be a lovely surprise when I go back downstairs? You're not admitting to anything, are you? You're not. I think you've been up to something, you and your brothers, from the sound of it. You look like butter wouldn't melt in your mouth, don't you? You can turn the heating thermostat up, can't you? You can turn lights on and you can open cupboards. You also star quite well in my videos, don't you? You're the only saving grace in my videos, really, aren't you? Right, so I'm just fiddling here with the ends of my stamping dimensionals, because I want to make sure it sits nicely on the card. So these end bits that you find on your stamping dimensional sheets here, these are quite handy because these are sort of partial dimensionals, so you can just stick those onto bits that the full ones won't fit onto. And then all we have to do is peel the bits off. Whatever you've been up to, you've obviously worn yourself out. I'm going to tell all the nice people that watch your videos what you've done next time. I'm going to name and shame you. Do you care? No, you don't care, do you? So we're going to just put that in the middle, preferably without the cat hair that's now stuck to the back of it. So putting that in the middle. And then I've got another piece of designer series paper, which is the background of that is almost like the black seaweedy design that's on one side, and we've got the stripes. We're going for the stripe look this time. Let me just get that out of the way before I knock them all on the floor. Now this is roughly 3 3/4. No, it's not. It's a 3/4 by 3 1/4. And again, I've just messed around with getting the lines as I want them. So it means just losing a shimmer off of each bit of the paper as you cut it. So just to get a more of a equidistant type design. Again, it's probably me and my OCD, but it just, I think, looks a bit better. I'm going with the dark lines upwards and this at the bottom, the contrast. So I'm going to put some snail on that. And I'm just going underneath the oval. And then again, using the dies, I've cut out using a piece of crumb cake. I've cut out the rope die. So this is a straight piece of rope. And that is going to go across the middle. Oh, I've got Marley as well now. So I'm going to put a little bit of snail here. And then I'm going to put a glue dot just at the end where I'm going to be cutting this off in a minute. So I'm just taking a glue dot and I'm just stretching that. I'm guesstimating where I'm going to be cutting this off. It's a piece of paper, Marley, which I'd rather you left where it was at the moment. I don't suppose you're going to admit to what's been going on downstairs either, are you? Right, so I've got some snail where in the middle and I've got a couple of glue dots at the end. And I'm just putting that into the middle of this piece of designer series paper. Now the two ends of this are not stuck and it's obviously too long for the card. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it off where it meets the bottom piece of the designer series paper. So I'm just going to stick that there. So the ends will be slightly loose. It's got what could do with another glue dot there. You can just check the ends when you cut it. That one's fine. I guessed it wrong. So trying not to stick myself to the card. Just going to scrunch that up. Just going to tuck it under that piece of rope. There we go. Now, having cut, or stamped rather, my sentiment, and I've cut it out, I'm going to then add that to the card using some Stampin' Dimensionals to give it some height. Four's possibly over the top, but I like to make sure it's going to stay where I've put it. And by doing that, you're not giving a lot of room for it to sort of one bit to be stuck. So if you went across the middle, then these two bits are quite floppy. By doing that, you've actually secured the four edges basically. Personal thing. I kind of feel that if you're going to do it, then do it to make it last really. And I'm just going to put that in the middle on top of the rope. So that's that. And you could finish that off then with one of the embellishments. I only have at the moment the ship's wheels left. My anchors have gone. But actually I think that works really well, so I'm not a case of making do. I think I would go with that anyway, even if I had a choice. So because it's metal, I want to make sure that that sticks well to my project. And then I'm just going to stick that in the corner, just on the Night of Navy card there. Is the front of the card finished? Now just to finish it off inside, just to put a little bit of a design, rather than put any other sentiment like a congratulations, which you could do if you wanted to, I've just added a partial piece of the compass, which I would then add also to my envelope. So I've got my compass here, I've got a D block. Now unfortunately this is one of my stamps that has come off the block, and I have stuck it back several times, and it's hard to actually see the north, south, east and west in quite the right place. So what I'm going to do is just stamp it on my pad, just to try and work out where my north is. So my north is actually over here somewhere. Yeah, so that's my north. So I want to basically go into my card at that angle. Nobody's going to look that closely, so I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, that will do, as they say. So that is my take on a congratulations card. Perhaps, I mean, lots of ladies would like that, I'm sure, but I was just trying to think of something that's a little bit more masculine orientated. But I have to say, nautical is very on trend at the moment, so it would work for anybody, I'm sure. So just a couple of, I glossed over it, but again, I did go through this in my last video, but when you're cutting out stamps using your Big Shot, I tend to use my magnetic plate most of the time, and I will repeat the warnings about pacemakers and not using magnetic plates, but assuming a magnetic plate is good for you, then they are really good at keeping your dies in place. However, even with magnetic plates, particularly with the smaller dies, they can move. So for the sake of what's involved, it just makes sense to just line your die up and then just use a post-it note to stick it into place. That way it's not going to move. Particularly with this, fits the sentiment really well, but it is quite a tight fit, so there isn't any room for manoeuvre, if that makes sense. Otherwise, if that moves very, very slightly, you're going to just lose your S on the dreams, so you need it in place and you want it to stay in place. So just by doing that, you can then run that through your Big Shot and it will come out in exactly the right place where you wanted it. So that's basically all I've got to say today. As usual, the normal links for everything are on the front of the video. So shop, join my team, bearing in mind there is the promotion for joining as a demonstrator is still ongoing till the end of the month. My blog link and social media links will also be on the front. So if you've enjoyed the video, then please do give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would be brilliant. All that happens is that you will get notified when we do another video, and you get the choice to watch it or not, as the case may be. Also my blog, you can subscribe to that, that way you don't miss out on what I'm up to, all things Stamping Up as well. And as I mentioned in my previous video, new for me this month is I've also added my monthly newsletter to that. So I think as I said, that is all I have to say today. So thanks for joining me, and it's so I'll say goodbye on behalf of Ollie. You going to say goodbye to everybody, Ollie? No, no chance.
Ollie.
No.
Ollie.
No. I think we got an ear waggle there. That was about it. So bye bye from Ollie. Bye bye from Jim, my cameraman, and goodbye from me. Until next time, take care. Bye.